Hey everybody, I'm Garrett.
And I'm Carolyn.
And we are Diary of a Family.
Living life intentionally and helping you do the same.
Today we are doing another campground review.
Woohoo!
We are reviewing a really nice campground that we stayed at for about 2 months.
We liked it that much.
Yep, here in the Shreveport area. And we are talking about Gavel Falls Campground. Let's go over some of the stats. It's probably about half an hour to downtown Shreveport.
Yep, it's off of Highway 1. It's really a straight shot right on into the hospital. It was very nice. Took me about 25 minutes in the morning.
It is on the way out to Caddo Lake. There's lots of activities in the area. Mm-hmm. There's 31 sites at the campground, including 3 cabins. I believe the owner, Danny Lawler, started it probably about a year or 2 ago.
Yeah, it definitely feels like the concrete pads were laid a year or 2 ago, pretty new. Some of the sites, the power, you could actually tell that, not a lot of people have stayed there yet, mm-hmm. because there's only like 3 or 4 digits on the meters.
Yeah, yeah, we came in at like 500 kilowatts or something like that. And we're like, okay, that's easy to...
Yeah, some of the grass hasn't taken yet, so there's still some muddy areas. It's definitely Louisiana, where it could be bone dry and just fine to walk on, or super duper muddy, and you've got the little crawdads building mm-hmm. their homes in it. So it's on the Lawler property, and we're gonna go through now the pros and the cons of this location. There's always gonna be pros and cons.
Yep, so one of the big pros, all the sites were concrete pads, and they were all at least 60 to 100 feet long.
You could totally fit your longest rig plus your tow behind. And
we were able to get our trailer and our 2 vehicles parked in a line all the way end to end, and we weren't blocking anybody. We did have to play a little shuffle if somebody needed to use one of the vehicles that was parked in, but
night before work, we had to switch things around, so the truck was parked closer to the trailer and the car was parked closer to the road. Yep. So that I could get out in the morning.
Another pro is the location. It is really close to a lot of really cool activities. Stay tuned for our video on free things that you can do in Shreveport.
Yes.
Because you'll be able to plan your trip from like a campsite like here and be able to go and hit all these spots on day trips, which will be absolutely fantastic.
I was actually surprised at how much stuff there is to do for free here, but we will get into that in another video. Another pro, they do have laundry facilities, pretty well priced.
Yep.
I think for a load of laundry washed and dried, you could do it for $3.25,
$3.50, yep. Another pro with all the sites is that they all had full hookups, 50 amp, 30 amp water and sewer.
We had no problems with any of our connections, such as we've had in older parks, yep. where certain things like water pressure is down or electricity cuts out on us. We had no problems like that at all. Another pro to this location is that because it's on the Lawler property, it is behind gates. We felt very safe in this community, not worried about the kids taking off and doing a little loop of the small campground.
I think the worst that could happen was that they would jump into the muddy fishing pond. And that was another pro for this campsite. There were 2 stocked lakes that the owner has. It has catfish, brim, and bass in the lake. So if you are a fisherman and you want to do a little bit of fishing, you are free to go fish and cook what you catch.
I wouldn't call them lakes. They were more ponds.
I'm sure that it probably never got more than chest deep on me, but there were fish in there, lots of fish, and they were doing well.
We did feel like Danny was constantly out there upgrading the property, making sure that it was that the facilities were working well. He had guys out there probably a month into our stay, putting up fences and making a whole area into a pasture for his cows.
Yeah, he brought in cows. We got to see kind of the whole process of bringing a herd of cows onto a property. That was kind of fun. We also liked the management. Danny was amazing, and he's the owner. The office, the people that worked in the office were also really helpful, and they always were able to answer our questions, and they were just a pleasure to work with.
Another great thing about the campsite is their mail service. You can actually put a $25 deposit down. This is for those who are staying longer, the monthly sites.
Yep.
And you get a mailbox out by the curb. Now, we only had packages delivered. We didn't actually forward our mail there. Yep. And sometimes the mail carrier wouldn't leave them in our box, maybe because they were too large, but would leave them in the office. And in that instance, the office staff would hand deliver our mail to our door.
It took a little bit getting used to the first time it happened. There's like, dunk, dunk, dunk. I was like, I didn't do anything. What's going on? Like, were my kids that loud? I opened the door. Here's a package. Oh, thank you. Sorry. Lastly, the pricing. So the rates for this campsite are $40 for back-in site and $60 for a pull-through site. Weekly is $220. Monthly pricing, the majority of the people that came through that campsite were monthly. It was about $450 a month. The first month was a $100 deposit for electricity, and then every month after that you kind of just paid as you went. But at $450 a month for full hookups, we were very happy with that. So if you want more information about this campsite, you can go to gavelfalls.com. That is the campsite website. You can get more information and ways to contact them there. So let's talk about a few of the cons for the campground. There weren't a ton, but there were a couple. So let's go over those. The first is there's no bathhouse or shower facilities, and they're mainly catering towards the oil workers and people that stay monthly. And most of those people have full hookups. They can do everything in their trailer, so it's not an issue. But if you have, let's say, an issue and you can't take a shower in your trailer, then
you're out of luck. Or
I guess find
a
gym or a pool or something like that to take a shower. So that was one con.
You could swim in the pond.
You could go swim in the pond and then hope to get the pond scum off you.
Because it catered to long-term oil workers, there was not a lot of things for our children to do, and there were only children on the site maybe 2 weekends out of the 8 weekends that we were there. So our kids really didn't get a lot of play interaction at our campsite.
Another con is there's only so many spaces, so it can fill up pretty quick. They're really high quality sites. There's only limited space, and you know, that's kind of...
It's a smaller park.
It's a smaller park.
So the campground there had very few trees. What trees were there were really mainly around one of the ponds.
Yeah.
So it can get pretty hot. We were there in end of April, all of May, and into June. And we ran our AC quite a bit and felt like it was
just
too hot.
Barely maintain. I mean, we had put it down to 77, and it would be at 79.
We did get the foil to put into some of the windows, and that did help both our skylights and a couple of the bathroom windows. Then we would pull the blinds down, and they'd be down the entire day just to cut some of the heat.
It was nice to have thunderstorm days because there was no heat, and we could kind of open the windows. We could kind of make it nice and cool, but it was very wet. A lot of the sites had a tendency of flooding in the grassy areas. I know this
wasn't so much of a concern because the entire patio was paved, plus around the
Yeah.
picnic table, and the picnic table was
It
concrete.
wouldn't flood on the pads that the trailers were on, but they had grassy areas. They had like a campfire and a barbecue and things like that were really nice. However, you don't want to step off in it into 3 inches of water.
And it would take a good week for it to dry out again, and then another thunderstorm would come. And
Well, and it's an issue that Danny, the owner, does know about. He told me that he's trying to figure out how to get these areas to drain properly. The soil out there was very clay-ish, so it took a long time for the water to go away. Once we get a huge massive rainstorm, it'd be a week before that puddle evaporates.
well, it allowed the kids to try catching tadpoles and
Crawfish.
watching crawfish build their homes.
That was fun. Overall, this is a fantastic campsite. If you are looking at exploring the Shreveport area, it is a top pick for us as far as a campsite to check out.
Little pricier than the first campsite we were at, but a lot quieter.
Until they shot off fireworks right in front of our trailer. But that's another story. We hope you guys enjoyed this campground review. Make sure to check out our other campground review of Lake Sawyer RV Park in Washington. I know it's a little bit a ways from here, but if you're traveling all over the place, it is a good campsite to check out.
Stay tuned for more campground reviews.
All right, we will see you guys in another video.
Bye.
Bye.